It's a pleasure for you to be here with us. We like to think this is Kampala, but also have your been. And I'd like to invite you to take your seats so we can start Alan, the back, and everyone else. Um, so about 2 years ago, we met with Alexi and had a discussion around City and what the City platform did. And during that period, we had a big challenge, which was how do you create inclusion in the climate space? How do you make sure that you move away from top-down approaches to solving for climate and have local innovation driving your NDC targets and achievement? And it was very clear that the hardest challenge to fix was the complexity around building climate projects, the complexity around creating projects accessing climate finance, which meant that many of the local innovators would not be able to do it. So what we did as the Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation was consider BPI as a way to support this. What if we had a platform that would already want to start the process of building out a carbon project, and if it makes sense, we then can pick it up and provide funding or capacity building around it. The capacity is to make sure that it actually gets verified and can actually go on to raise investment. And we are very proud today to say that I think we have achieved that with the Power Carbon platform. And we'll be showing you exactly how it works and what we intend to achieve with it. However, before we go into the demonstration, I'd like to invite Mr. Peter Orion, who is the Under Secretary for the Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation, to make a few remarks and invite you to.
Thank you very much, David, and thank you very much, our partners. My name is Peter Orion, the Under Secretary in the Science, Technology and Innovation Secretariat, in the Office of the President of Uganda. We are happy to be here, and we are here not just as any other participants, but we are here as partners in driving this agenda forward. Like David has said, a few years ago, we met the team from City, led by Alexei and his colleagues, and we had quite an interesting conversation. And the conversation was around how do we create an environment that brings people together and support every other person who wants to partake of the beauty and the outcomes of green financing. And as our country, we didn't have any infrastructure, we didn't have any platform, we were seemingly left out. And as it is, we needed to see how do we get included in this ecosystem. And Alexei and his team, through City, offered to handhold our country. And I want to report that the journey that we began a few years ago is yielding a great fruit, and that great fruit will be showcased today. And I want to pledge that as a country, Uganda, and as specifically as the Secretariat of Science, Technology and Innovation, which is responsible for creating innovations that will support the different ecosystems. We will support this initiative, we will build on this to be able to expand and create more infrastructure that will support the deepening and uptake of our people and participating within the green economy. So we pledge on behalf of the government to be part of this journey as partners to be able to achieve the desired outcomes of what we are starting today. So thank you very much for coming. We are hopeful that at the end of this day, we will build on this and create the much needed momentum and participation of all the people of Uganda, especially the local people, in getting involved in the carbon markets. Well, that's what we want to achieve. Once we achieve that, then the benefits will trickle down to the common person, and hence the inclusion that we are talking about. Again, thank you very much to our partners, and we're happy on behalf of the minister that you took the journey with us. And I bring greetings from our Honorable Minister for Science and Technology, who was supposed to have been here, by the way, to participate in this launch, but because of other commitments, he was unable to travel. But be rest assured that we have our goodwill. We will always be there to support this initiative. I say all this for God and my country. Thank you very much.
So before I hand over to Alexia, I need to mention a few things because we keep mentioning every city. It's important to note that this is a completely sovereign instance running of the platform that they develop as open source. One, two, and what I find super exciting, this platform is hosted on local cloud, the local Ugandan cloud, which is again very interesting. And I think we have a past few projects actually in the platform. So I want to hand over to Alexi to just walk you through, and then we'll move on to the next steps.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Happy to see you all here. Thanks for coming to this presentation. Because this is a very important day for us, for the University for Uganda, also for the Digital Innovation Pavilion. And that gentleman over there, Miroslav Politzer, please say hello. With this gentleman, we in 2017 at COP Fiji, which was in fact in Bonn, we united to support digital innovation. And we had, now we're sitting in this beautiful pavilion, but back then we were sitting in a 2 square meter booth with the name, which was Blockchain for Climate. And we were the pioneers here at COP that brought the power of this technology to this party-driven process, and we were advocating that blockchain is a great fit for many use cases in climate and climate finance. And we were joined by other great people, Masamba Tue, who used to work in the United Policy Secretariat, who was also a great leader and still is, and the UN Global Climate Change Innovation Hub, with whom we've been collaborating all these years. So we were coming every year to COP, and we were bringing the use cases, the examples of how these technologies can change the situation, can make climate finance better, faster, more efficient, more transparent, and we were doing a lot of capacity building and showcasing. And at one of the workshops that we had a side event, I think it was Katowice, and after the presentation of these potential use cases, we were surrounded by people, and mainly people from Africa, and they were talking to us, and they were asking us about two things. They were saying, we have smart people, very active youth, we have all the resources, we have the willingness to participate in this digital transformation, but please help us and give us knowledge and give us technology. And that moment was very important for me personally, my personal growth. And I understood that this is something that we can support on, this is something that we can partner on and collaborate together. And not in a way that we are, keeping our technology, keeping our IP for ourselves, but in a collaborative way, using open source technologies that we've been developing all these years. Using the technologies that we can give away that are based on the open principles, and that we then can collaboratively develop further for the global group. And so today is very important day because finally this dream, this message that was transferred to me comes true today with Uganda in the Digital Innovation Pavilion. So I'm very happy to congratulate all of us who stood behind the digital innovation movement for many, many years, advocating, showcasing. So now, finally today, we are seeing some great examples of how this can be done in the country level. And a few more words. So when this insightful moment happened, we started to think deeper in what are these problems that we can solve with digital technology. And we realized and take to quote, by the way, that what is written in PDF report about climate finance is not really something that's happening on the ground. The climate finance is very complicated. There's so many acronyms, there's so many words, there's so many formulas, indicators, standards. It's a fragmented world. Yes, we now have the Paris Agreement, but we also have many other things there, as you know. And it's very hard for anyone to understand it. Then we looked a bit deeper and we realized that it's also a very monopolized or oligopolized market because there were certain big consultants, certain big players, and most of the climate finance were going through them. And the knowledge, the technology was being kept overseas while the recipients of climate finance, they were left without the knowledge, without technology, without the infrastructure. And infrastructure was centralized. And then finally, we realized another problem. That's also the financing terms. And financing itself is not very favorable. It's not very accessible because it's expensive. You need to do a lot of upfront investment into carbon projects, validation, verification, registration, feasibility studies, these consultants, that consultants, and you need to invest a lot. And communities and NGOs, they just don't have this resources. They don't have knowledge, they don't have technology, they don't have the money to even start the project. So these are the three problems we've identified that we were trying to address with what we've been doing. And finally, I hope that thanks to all of you, thanks to our partners and collaborators who will also speak later here, we managed to solve all these three problems in one solution, which is Uganda Pearl Carbon Platform. Yeah. So maybe just a couple of more things, right? So these are the three challenges we kept in mind while building the software, and we realized that technology can serve as a digital bridge that provides translation from the complicated language of financiers that are always saying that the money is there. There's a lot of money and it's there. And communities and projects that are always saying, where is the money? We don't have the money. Give us the money. But this problem is a communication problem, right? And these three problems that I mentioned, they can be like squeezed into one problem, which is communication and transaction cost problem, right? So this is exactly what we kept in mind, and we realized that technology can be this translator and can be the ultimate bridge that would control and guide the projects, structure the data in a granular way according to all these international standards that are embedded. We don't need consultants to a large extent anymore to come and say what's good or not and do capacity building, because the capacity building process can now be digital. It can be embedded into the interface, into the gamified workflow. And we can use the best from the gaming industry. We can use the best from neobanks and finance industry, and we can make the process really, really simple with simple interfaces. And now, with the emergence of AI, we can streamline this even more so that the person or community member who knows nothing about carbon finance can come to the platform, be orientated, be guided through the process in a consecutive way. And with Uganda, we're starting with the carbon, but we will soon later on add more instruments. And the project that will be coming to the platform will be orientated towards the best fitting instrument, whether there is a grant, whether there is carbon, whether there is green debt, or financing from DFIs or philanthropists. So this is our vision. But we're starting with the carbon markets. because this is a low-hanging fruit. And Uganda just released their carbon market framework and is making the next step towards digitizing this framework, putting it to the digital rails, using automation, using blockchain as an ultimate transparency and traceability tool, and also enabling to issue the digital assets. And we will, this gentleman there will talk about this later on. And of course, AI to streamline this experience, while benefiting from the ecosystem, benefiting from the people on the ground, and the ownership, and the smart people, and young active people who can do MRB services, who can do verification on the ground, who can be project developers, and being guided by these digital rails. They don't need to go to the university and complete the course on carbon markets or green bonds. Now everything is embedded. And this is a very unique thing, because before that we were talking and building registries, which is a very important part for carbon markets and climate finance. But unfortunately, registry doesn't solve the problem of lack of access, entry barriers, and lack of supply of quality projects and ideas. So today we're seeing how Uganda is leading the way and is showing the examples to other countries how to use the power of digital technologies in a sovereign, decentralized, federated way, keeping the data in Uganda, but opening up Uganda projects and markets to the world, to international investors. So I guess I'll stop it there, and let's see it ourselves with our own eyes.
Carbon is a homegrown digital solution built to connect local projects with global carbon markets. Hosted on African cloud infrastructure, it keeps all data within Uganda, ensuring digital sovereignty and transparency. It opens access to carbon finance for everyone, proponents, providers, and investors, from local farmers and cooperatives to youth innovators and regional developers. All registered projects appear in a structured national catalog, filtered by category, region, methodology, or stage to instantly find and compare projects. Each project card displays key details: title, location, activity type, financing needs, and project stage. Every listing is verified and traceable through the Pearl Carbon workflow. On the portfolio dashboard, everything comes together: projects, data, and progress in one card. A live map places their project within Uganda's wider climate story. It appears with key data, location, financing, and service providers. To create a project, they open the overview tab, the first step where basic details, goals, and location come together to begin the journey. Next, the platform guides them through the project idea node. They follow each step, learning the standards and requirements along the way. No need for expensive consultants or long delays. As they complete each section, the platform suggests the relevant SDG goals and indicators, highlighting their impact and preparing data for digital MRV. Next, the platform helps them prepare their first documents. The system explains each step, from the project idea node to the feasibility study. When it's time to prepare the PVV, the AI builder takes the lead. It asks questions, fills in fields automatically, and explains each section with examples. In minutes, the AI transforms their data into a complete, compliant document, smart, fast, and effortless. Through the service provider marketplace, they find local or international partners, auditors, MRV specialists, project developer firms, or individual experts. The platform connects them directly, keeping value and capacity within the country. Makes local expertise powering local impact. All updates arrive in one place. Messages, document requests,
and collaboration offers appear instantly. After verification, the project goes live for investors and carbon forwards are issued. It addresses the challenge of upfront financing, providing much needed capital for project implementation. Forwards are issued on a public blockchain, ensuring ultimate transparency and traceability. Built on EverCity on the Hedera Guardian framework, open source digital public infrastructure powering Uganda's sovereign climate finance ecosystem.
You know, when I mentioned that we were doing something, I'm a Steve and I need, but more person I thought I would be able to see this. It was so parts of it, and I missed the last meeting. So seeing this, extremely impressed by what we can achieve with a platform like this. I'm glad the team from the development bank is here as well, so I'll be coming to you to create awareness around this. I think for the other partners in the room, what do we need from this point on? I think is an important conversation. One is how do we drive awareness? It's the first thing. Two, how do we strengthen the capacity building layer on top of, as projects start being developed, how do we provide them with a bit of capacity support to make sure that, they can either get the consultants in or they can be able to move to completely built carbon project. So at this point, I think I'll hand over to Alexi. You want to invite Wes, I think, and
Yeah. You see that
we should do the questions fast if there's any questions.
yeah, maybe just one or two questions.
Any questions in the room? Yes.
I don't know if it's a question per se, but how to shape this. And I think from where we sit, we are presenting and talking of the problem of where financial institutions or financial say money is there, projects say where is the money. And whenever we are engaging, because we have a climate finance facility, I'm from Uganda Development Bank, and we do support green projects. One of the key challenges we find is how do you create a pipeline of quality bankable projects? We are aware of greenwashing, where projects claim, I'm seeking to invest in green-related initiatives, but actually when you look at it and interrogate it, it's not green. And so I'm looking at a platform here that if well documented, you can actually get to see the greenness in a project and the extent to which the project is green and the potential green impact. But my question now is on operationalization. And I'm speaking from the bank's perspective, that we have a pipeline. How do we operationalize that, use it as a platform for deriving or getting that quality pipeline of bankable projects? What do we envisage in that end? Maybe we can actually discuss more how we can also address this.
So I'm super glad that the development bank has asked that question, because now I have my first financing. So as a science and technology secretariat, ours has been to build a platform and find partners to be able to drive awareness around it and drive, eventual use. So yes, we are going to be running engagement with partners like yourselves so that you can use this with your portfolios. We're still trying to figure out the model around sustainability. Eventually we have to, but it's something that we would run, especially for the partners. We also have the Carbon Access Lab in Uganda that's going to be leading on this, because what we realize is even with the platform in place, we still have a lot of need for additional capacity building. This is a pipeline generator. So the pipeline is done, we can then go in and run actual support or capacity support to make sure that they can go past the initial phase.
Any other questions? Okay, then we would like to invite to the stage our partner, Wes Geisenberger from Hedera Foundation. We mentioned that the platform is based on the open source technologies that EverCity and Hedera are developing. And specifically, Hedera is focused on the blockchain technology, issuing digital climate finance assets, being the partners of the Digital Innovation Pavilion for already 3 years. And they're doing really a lot of great work, fully focused on climate finance use cases and different instruments, green bonds, carbon, working with the registries as well. So Wes, maybe you can highlight this work that you're doing and make a bridge to the Uganda carbon platform that we just presented. Thank you.
And first of all, thank you for having us. We're really, really excited about the work going on with the government in Uganda, supporting the projects in every city. It's really a fantastic collaboration. So I just want to say hats off and credit to you. I think this is really an awesome demonstration.
From a digital infrastructure perspective,
and I very much appreciate Alexi's comments about being the dream coming out of the digital innovation pavilion in every city. It's our dream as well that this infrastructure allows you to get to outcomes that help communities. And when it comes to enabling that, we've spent a lot of time, and I oftentimes call myself a digital plumber. The plumbing is often behind the walls, best when it's not seen. And the opportunity in this digital plumbing that we talk about is taking methodologies, these complex workflows, sometimes thousands of potential paths to get to an issuance of a carbon credit. But that doesn't talk about the institutional finance. That doesn't talk about the folks who are buying the credits, whether it's sold in country, through ICMOs, in the voluntary market. But if you want to get to the institutional finance of these projects, you have to have buyers. You have to have offtake agreements. Even if it's pay upon delivery, we see opportunities that institutional capital can come into place if that exists. There's a digital pathway to production in the registry systems that comes through standards. And so we've been building the world's largest methodology library that's digitized and open source, digital, making it accessible, like you saw here in the platform, so that you see the forms, the workflows, the calculations, so a bank can follow from start to finish. But that's not far enough. Getting to a project description document often is a $500,000 effort that these communities don't have access to historically. And so to get to that point, the best way to do that is through tools that walk them to that point. And the project registration portal allows them to not just get access to data on how to build a project, but our hope is that we can follow the same funds digitally, the same accounts that are accessing data on these platforms. And the Data Guardian is enabling that data integrity workflow for these methodologies. We have folks in the carbon markets world like Vera, who are digitalizing methodology. We have other registry systems for countries like the UNDP National Carbon Registry, which we've helped fund and build out further enhancements so it's connected to that methodology library. Meaning not only does a registration portal start not from scratch on top of the system knowledge, any country that wants to deploy a registry system on top of this digital public infrastructure can do so. They can do so from day one with that enhanced workflow. They can tie into the carbon markets if they sign an agreement with one of the independent crediting standards like Vera or Gold Standard. There's many others as well using the system, but they can access this library. Beyond that, though, the thing that we're really excited about tied to what every city is building and what will really benefit the market from our perspective is focusing on financial integrity. If we can get data integrity right and untangle these complex workflows, let's talk about how we can follow the finances from the capital market instrument into the special purpose vehicle, from the funds to these vehicles and projects to the same accounts of every beneficiary and every contract. One of the goals of the just transition is to prove that these communities are benefiting the flow of capital goes to these communities, not just to the governments, but actually to folks enabling sustainable development of global south. Our view is in our foundation, we're not going to be the enablers of the capital to flow, but we're going to enable the system to track it, to see it, to make it more transparent. And if we can collaborate with different partners, whether it's Evercity, whether it's through the Pro Carbon platform, we can provide the funding to build that infrastructure so it's built in a way that works for countries, works for communities. And so we understand we're a very small part of this puzzle, and we're here to be catalytic and enabler. But really, I want to close out saying thank you to folks for building the Pro Carbon platform, and we're so excited for what's to come. We're very excited about how we can collaborate, working with the development banks and financial institutions, and anything that we can help with, please let us know what you think is next. Please help us help you build that dream. I think that's where we need to go. There you go.
Thank you so much, Wes. And I'm happy to announce that we have also another special guest here during our presentation. This is Guilherme Alberto from the Ministry of Innovation and Public Services of Brazil. and he's a program manager for digital public infrastructure. So the platform, please, Alberto. So the platform is presented at POP, and the whole process, the whole idea has started actually 1 year ago at POP in Baku. So with our partners in Uganda, we consider this as a POP baby, as something that has started at POP. And we are very happy to see that Brazilian presidency has made DPI, digital public infrastructure, as one of their key legacy initiatives that are coming from POP. So altogether, we've been really supporting this topic for many, many years. And now we're happy that the Brazilian presidency is endorsing that, is leading on that, and we congratulate you on that. And we would like to invite you to say a few words because we hope that this initiative can also serve as an example and maybe be part of those initiatives that will be highlighted.
Thank you, Alexi. Yeah, glad to be with you here. I guess we've been endorsing this in different aspects. So one is to bring this as a core topic within negotiations, conversations, and the promotion, because we do believe that technology is an exponential tool to tackle an exponential crisis which climate corresponds. Also, we've been promoting the fact that also digital public goods. So we do think interoperability is key to make things happen in a more connected manner, but also openness and the possibility of reuse is also a way to leverage the possibility of the South-South cooperation and sovereign countries connecting with technology in a cheaper, easier, and more innovative manner. So in addition to those positions and negotiations, we also think that this is the cup for delivery and for action. So we launched yesterday a plan to accelerate solutions on DPIs and DPGs for climate action. We know there's a lot of platforms, of organizations, of institutions working together in this field. Our idea is somehow to connect them and to organize information to funnel energy in the same direction. So we're bringing together with partners such as Digital Public Goods Alliance, Global Develop, and Institute for Technology and Society of Rio de Janeiro. We're organizing a track not only to organize a collection of DPGs which are relevant for climate, but also a way to connect funders and people in search of funds for disaster climate and organizing this ecosystem, and also somehow to organize information. So, but not by reinventing the wheel, but connecting with people who are already doing things. Well, our initial goal is to look for commitments and pledges and people willing to contribute to those platforms and with their initiatives to share their experiences so that it can be reused and connected. But this is also a call for you. I know you were there yesterday and that you have good things to share. And sharing is a fantastic way to make a change happen. This is our belief, and this is why we're here as well. Thank you for the invitation.
Okay, thank you so much for Aaron. Thanks for coming and thanks for your leadership. So with this, I want to give it back to David and Hassan, maybe some statements. And David has been our digital innovation climate star this fall. Yeah, we had an amazing journey today. Yeah, he was taking part at an event with Al Gore and other important people, UNESCO Policy Secretariat. So maybe you can share some plans for the Uganda and Uganda Pro Carbon platform going further.
So first off, we did not see the video, so you not see the video. So we'll play the video. Just after this one statement, and then we'll wrap it up and move on. So We had a great session this morning, and one of the things that came up was that while you have, we have the indices, we have climate action, but in reality, many times, not very much local innovation is actually driving this process. We have all agree on this. And if we have the right data to map out the challenges, to map out sort of these indices and challenges linked to them, and you use challenge-based innovation to attract ideas or solutions. Using a platform like this, you can actually be able to really develop very many great ideas, but also see how to then provide support. So we agreed to use Uganda as an example. And so starting in January, we'll be sort of trying to close out this process with a consortium, including Climate Trace and a number of other partners. And it's going to be heavily data and technology driven. We will be hosting a innovation forum for the UNFCCC in Uganda in April next year. So you're welcome to be a part of that. Welcome to trying to make, we keep saying if we can make one or two countries really, really work very effectively, we can then scale those models across the rest of it. We want to be that country, that's our ambition, and we hope that you can be a part of the process. So I'd like to play the video again. Thank you very much for being here, and I look forward to hopefully seeing you soon.
Pearl Carbon is a homegrown digital solution built to connect local projects with global carbon markets. Hosted on African cloud infrastructure, it keeps all data within Uganda, ensuring digital sovereignty and transparency. It opens access to carbon finance for everyone, proponents, providers, and investors, from local farmers and cooperatives to youth innovators and regional developers. All registered projects appear in the structured national catalog, filter by category, region, methodology, or stage to instantly find and compare projects. Each project card displays key details: title, location, activity type, financing needs, and project stage. Every listing is verified and traceable through the Pearl Carbon workflow. On the portfolio dashboard, everything comes together: projects, data, and progress in one hub. A live map places their project within Uganda's wider climate story. It appears with key data, location, financing, and service providers. To create a project, they open the Overview tab. The first step where basic details, goals, and location come together to begin the journey. Next, the platform guides them through the project idea node. They follow each step, learning the standards and requirements along the way. No need for expensive consultants or long delays. As they complete each section, the platform suggests the relevant SDG goals and indicators, highlighting their impact and preparing data for digital MRV. Next, the platform helps them prepare their first documents. The system explains each step, from the project idea node to the feasibility study. When it's time to prepare the PDD, the AI builder takes the lead. It asks questions, fills in fields automatically, and explains each section with examples. In minutes, the AI transforms their data into a complete, compliant document, smart, fast, and effortless. Through the service provider marketplace, they find local or international partners, auditors, MRV specialists, project developer firms, or individual experts. The platform connects them directly, keeping value and capacity within the country. Its local expertise powering local impact. All updates arrive in one place. Messages, document requests, and collaboration offers appear instantly. After verification, the project goes live for investors and carbon forwards are issued. It addresses the challenge of upfront financing, providing much needed capital for project implementation. Forwards are issued on the public blockchain, ensuring ultimate transparency and traceability. Built on Evercity and the Heteroguardian framework, open source digital public infrastructure powering Uganda's sovereign climate finance ecosystem.
So thanks again for your attention, and maybe you want one last closing statement by our partner Miroslav Kulicer, the convener, the one who brings us here to this wonderful digital innovation pavilion, and with whom we are happy to collaborate in 2017. Please, Miroslav.
Thank you very much, Alexei. So a very warm welcome to this Digital Innovation Pavilion. It's really the space where we give digital solution providers an opportunity that they come present their solutions and interact with experts from the global climate governance community and from the global climate action community. And this is really a place where transformative innovation is possible. And also for the future, we believe that this topic, digital public infrastructure, this is really a framework which people understand that it is transformative, is a new layer of the global cooperation architecture. And therefore, congratulations to Uganda, it's big. And shout out also to Rotary, because we have also some Rotarians here. They will be also people who will use this kind of empowering tools to bring to empower community action. We have a focus also on local climate action empowerment. And Alberto has also some T-shirts for the panelists. He will give them to those who have been actively participating. So thanks again and congratulations, Uganda. Uganda will be the best.